advertised meeting of the Joliet Zoning Board of Appeals. In our capacity, we hear petitions for relief from the strict provisions of a city ordinance. In matters of this type, the decision of the board is final in respect that it does not go to the mayor or the city council for any further action. If you disagree with our decision, you have a recourse in the court of record. We also hear petitions for variations of land use. In matters of this type, we act as an advisory committee to the mayor and the city council, making a recommendation either for or against it. The final decision on land use is made by the mayor and the city council. The secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Darley? Here. Mr. Ferguson?
Here.
Mr. Graham?
Here.
Ms. Nevadas?
Here.
Ms. Powers?
Here.
Mr. Riggs?
Here.
Mr. Hennessy?
Here. Petition 2013-57, variation of use to allow a senior day care center at 101 South Midland. And petition 2013-60 at 101 South Midland have been tabled indefinitely. Anyone that's here on these petitions, unless you want to sit and watch the show, you're free to leave. Any other requests, Mr. Secretary?
No other requests, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, let's go by the agenda then. How about let's hearing petition, let's see, 2013-55. Is the petitioner present? Pardon me? Yeah. Okay. Want to read it?
Yes. Petition number 2013-57. The applicant in this matter is Title Max.
55.
I'm sorry, 55. The applicant in this matter is Title Max. The owner of the property is Capri Development. The location is 1606 West Jefferson Street, and their request is for a special use permit to allow a consumer loan office. The petitioner is requesting a special use permit in order to allow a consumer installment loan business at the subject site. The 17,000 plus square foot site was annexed in Zone B1, which is neighborhood business zoning, in 1953. Throughout its history, it was predominantly a Taco Bell restaurant. Access to the site will be achieved through two existing curb cuts on Jefferson Street. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character, commercial uses are located to the north and east and maintain B3 general business zoning. The commercial use to the west is Zone B1. Single-family residential is located to the south, which has the R2 single-family residential zoning. Applicable regulations are as noted. This matter was on the agenda for the Community Design Review Board meeting held earlier this month, and there were no comments regarding this request at that meeting. Under general discussion, Title Max of Illinois, Inc. is a consumer installment loan business regulated by the State of Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation, Division of Financial Institutions. They are a privately owned company based in Savannah, Georgia, with approximately 1,200 store locations in over 12 states. Chicagoland locations include Crest Hill, Geneva, Glen Ellen, St. Charles, 2 locations in Naperville, a location in Plainfield. Elmwood Park has 3 locations, locations in Schaumburg, Palatine, Oak Lawn, East Dundee, Lake Villa, Crystal Lake, and Orland Park has 2 locations. The business will employ a general manager, assistant manager, and 2 customer service professionals that will assist customers in obtaining short-term loans secured by their motor vehicle titles. The state of Illinois restricts the loan amount, and a Title Max policy currently is a loan maximum of $4,000 for a maximum of 2 years. The hours of operation that are being proposed would be Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. through 4 p.m., and closed on Sunday. The business usually has 2 to 4 customers daily. The loan approval process typically takes 30 minutes. In approximately 2 years, the business expects to see approximately 40 customers per day dropping off payments. The petitioners plan on putting approximately $90,000 of improvements into the property, which will include new windows, paint, new asphalt single roof, and a refurbished landscaping. If the zoning board desires to approve this special use permit, the following conditions should be included. One, that the business hours will not be expanded from Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. through 4 p.m., and closed on Sundays. We have also included the 180-day condition that the special use will terminate and lapse unless a building permit or certificate of occupancy is not obtained no later than 180 days of the effective date of approval. And finally, should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the special use permit. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Mr. Secretary, we have a note in here stating that there's a letter from St. Pat's neighborhood and the Cathedral Area Preservation. That was not included in our packet.
Okay.
Could you read that into the record?
Yes, I can. I have the letter here. Actually, it was an email, and it states, please feel free to share this letter with any departments or committees that will be making any decisions on the development of a title max. The St. Pat's Neighborhood Organization and the Kappa organizations have written the below letter of non-support for the development of a title max anywhere in the city of Joliet. The bottom line is a title max is bad for the city regardless of what happens at the Dodge site. A title max at the old Taco Bell site at Jefferson and Margaret is not better than leaving the site vacant. Title max might be the best in the business, but the business as a whole is not conducive to a vibrant and healthy city economy. There's a quote here, you can put lipstick on a pig and it is still a pig. The developer stated that percentage rates on title max loans are more competitive than those of other loan sharks. The Title Max website admits to charges totaling $117.91 on a 30-day loan of $500. The math works out to an APR of 283%. If the Dodge site project is so good, it should stand on its own merits, irrespective of what happens to the Taco Bell site. The developer isn't doing the city a favor. He's doing things with which he expects to turn a profit. What is proposed at the Taco Bell site is exactly the type of predatory business that would turn good customers away from visiting and purchasing from the better restaurants and establishments that would be established just a few blocks away. The implied linkage between the two sites suggests that the developer is pushing for an undesirable use at the Taco Bell site, and that we would hope that there would be a better business ethics than that. We hope fervently that the city will strongly oppose the Title Max special use permit and resist any attempt to link it to other developments. There is another reason besides the undesirability of one more usurious loan operation. The city is now known to be opposed to any more such enterprises. We need to continue to build on this strong opposition. In the long run, it will attract better businesses because of the reputation we have developed. If we do not oppose this Title Max and a new precedent is set, on what grounds do we oppose others? And that concludes the letter, Mr. Chairman.
It was my understanding that the council had imposed a moratorium so the staff and the council could review these locations, and now it's being done on a per request basis and per location basis, so that there is no longer any moratorium against it.
That's correct. The moratorium was lifted when the ordinance was put into effect requiring the special use permit process.
Okay, and what's the correlation between the Dodge Aldi project and this?
I think the linkage there is that the ownership is the same. There is a developer that has a proposal for the old Dodge dealership on Jefferson
That's where the
Street.
Aldi's and the Pantera bread is going?
Correct. And they also own this particular site as well.
What's the connection? I don't see it.
There's just a connection of ownership.
It was
they just own
implied
both sites.
that this is contingent on the Dodge deal.
No, I think they are applying on the merits of what they're proposing at this site. It should not be tied to the other.
It's not
other
at all
location.
tied to this at all.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Petitioner present, want to come forward, please? Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth? Could I have your name and address, please?
Jeff Cermak, 319 Uvedale Road, Riverside, Illinois.
Any comments you'd like to make, sir?
Well, I certainly understand and can appreciate what a community group will do, but parts of it I understand where they're coming from. I've been in front of boards before talking about this. And first of all, the initial comments is that Title Max is an industry leader. It's a regulated business by the state of Illinois. Having these type of outfits or operations in your community, it services about a 1.5 mile radius, so it is servicing the folks that do live right here. Whereas close as Crest Hill, those people are not from Joliet are not going to Crest Hill typically. They are going to the other ones that aren't industry leaders and perhaps do not have the same products we do. The business use is, as was stated, is a short-term financing secured by vehicle title. I don't believe along Jefferson Street there is a buildup of banks and loan offices along there, but very few of them specialize just in the one product. Probably it's a little bit surprising to hear an interest rate like that, but it is the business model. These same people cannot go to their bank and get a small loan because, first of all, banks don't make small loans. So the business model itself has to charge $100 on a $500 loan just to process the fees. Much cheaper than a bounce check and that. So there's really 3 reasons that I believe that this is good and healthy for what's can happen here. Is you're going to be putting an industry leader into your community and offering products and for consumers. Also, the fact that there's going to be a huge investment. Not only will Title Max, they're very conscious of the customer experience and making sure their employees have a safe place to work, and will make a huge investment in making it a very professional-looking loan office, as well as the landlord has to make a huge investment to take a dilapidated building and put it into a certificate of occupancy order for that. And so it's providing the service and the investment, and also it's going to get rid of vacancy along a street where it's a systemic problem. I've done site selection for companies such as Title Max, as well as Starbucks and Firestone and McDonald's. Simply, it's very difficult for me to ever bring an approval package in where there's vacancy. So occupancy is going to get occupancy. If you want more occupancy in there, you really need to take an industry leader, let them invest in the property, which will turn out to be a very innocuous use. It's not going to draw upon city services, health departments, it's loitering, police departments. Very, very seldom. They handle very low amounts of cash in that. So you're going to be adding a good citizen to your landscape, and also probably keeping other loan offices in check in the businesses they do, or perhaps even, they will not be as competitive, and Title Max will go where they are. They will not go where Title Max is. So I think that says a lot for the company itself. So for those 3 reasons, the fact that they're going to invest in the property, the fact that they're going to offer a product, and they're going to give your customers here in Joliet another option of where they can get short-term emergency funds. So if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Anyone have questions? How long are these loans usually for?
The state maximizes them to be 2 years. The company really encourages people to pay it off in a short amount of time. One of the things, too, that if you look at a home mortgage that is over 30 years, and when you go to your truth in lending, and you walk in there and you go to your closing table, and you might be doing a $200,000 mortgage, the number is on what you end up paying, 3-4 times what that mortgage is. This is the opposite of it. The APR may look low on that, but this APR looks high because it's paid off in a very short amount of time until that insurance check comes through, until that time, that they have to get the child into the dental office so they can go to school because they need the emergency funds on that. So that's where it's a little bit, when I heard APR was that. But I'm sorry, to answer your question, it's 2 years maximum, 24 months payment. Most people do not take that long. Most people, 80% of the people are repeat customers too.
So what, these are basically loans given for at a time of crisis or emergency where people who can't normally get a conventional loan
Yes.
would come in and...
A couple reasons is typically banks do not make these small loans. They don't have an interest in it. Number two, if they do have an interest in it, it's a 4 to 6 week process, and typically not the reason that you need emergency funding. And then, or also people that don't have a home to refinance or a credit score that's going to get them their loan they need, if by chance the bank was willing to lend money on have a product similar to this for small lending.
So they would have no other options except an operation like yours.
Yeah, this is usually what it is. I mean, the good news is that it's regulated by the state. The other options would be probably the embarrassment of going to the father-in-law or something like that, or even the consequences that are way beyond, having a regulated, where when people are in emergency funds, they do emergency things to get them. So they're going to a regulated business to find their funding.
Okay. Any questions from anyone else? Is anyone here from Capri Development? Oh, I'm sorry.
These are title loans on car titles, correct?
That is correct.
And if they cannot, then do you repossess the cars?
The repossession rate on a car is very, very small. I don't have the exact percentage, but it is under 2% of cars that are repossessed. They would prefer to work out with the person. They would prefer to have that person have a good experience, recommend the company to friends and say they did not take my car on that. So the repossession of that is very small. Most of the repossessions are, from my understanding, are people that they'll get their loan and they'll give them the car and say, I don't want to pay back this mortgage or this refinance. I'd rather just give up my car because they feel the value is there. That's the vast majority of the repossessions that they do have.
And in that case, what do you do with the automobiles?
Well, first of all, there's not a huge market for this. I think they have a central location that they send the cars to and they sell them. And then if they do get excess money for the car, that money goes back to the borrower. Okay, so if they bought $1,000 and they borrowed $1,000 and they sold it for $1,500, they would get $500 back difference on it. And so they're not in the business at all of repossessing cars. It's not what they're interested in. They're interested in making the loans and getting the people back where it said 80% of them are return customers.
Anyone else?
80% are return customers.
Yes.
So the person that is constantly having an emergency because they're paying the high interest and they can't get out of that lifestyle.
Well,
is what I'm hearing.
Again, protecting them against themselves on whatever reason, but it's usually very, typically the people are coming back because a lot of times they're working it out. They may come back they may pay down the mortgage, I'm sorry, I've got that on my mind. They may pay down the loan and come back for additional funding for whatever reason. So.
Any other comments or questions from the board? Go back. Is there anyone here from Capri Development?
Yes.
Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth? Could I have your name and address?
Jerry Cairo, Capri Development, 208 South LaSalle, Chicago.
Okay, and I understand that you intend to, what, refurbish the building, and what exactly are you going to do with the building?
The
Did you
building-
have to gut it out now, because that's been empty for, what, a couple of years? And it's all full
yeah,
of
it's
kitchen
completely,
equipment and stuff. What do you,
completely gutted, new roof, heating, washrooms, electric. There isn't much we're not going to do to it because of the shape it's in. So we'll have an architect submit a set of plans for your building department to approve. I'm sure Title Max will bring theirs in, and we'll build to code and have a nice building there.
what was the estimate of the repairs that you're going to have to put in?
It's in the hundreds of thousands,
100,000?
above that.
So technically, it'll be like an office building then, or rather than a restaurant interior.
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments for Mr. Cairo? Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this petition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Come forward, please.
Hello.
Swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth.
Yes, I
Could I have your name and address?
Carol Ann Heineman, 711 Morgan Street, Joliet, 60436. Hello, my name is Carol Ann Heineman. I'm president of the St. Pat's Neighborhood Association, an organization and residents of Joliet. We strive to support things that we believe will make the city of Joliet as a whole a better place for everyone to want to live and bring up their families. Therefore, I would like to express opposition to the request for a special use permit for the Title Max at the old Taco Bell site. We believe that the Jefferson Street corridor on both sides of Larkin should not have any additional Title Max, Cash for Gold stores, etc. We would like Jefferson Street to be developed with better quality merchants and restaurants. There is already a Title Max store approximately a half a block away across the street from this proposed location. A question that might be asked, why haven't they proposed putting the Title Loan store west on Jefferson with the other high-end stores that they are proposing? Yes, this location he is looking at is vacant and may remain vacant, but we would prefer to have a vacant store than the message that another Title Max store might present. It is well known that realtors highly recommend that when you drive into a neighborhood and see locations in the city that have Cash for Gold and Cash for Title, they tell you to keep driving through until you find a community that does not have these signs. These type of stores in the area contribute to the decrease in home values. I thank you for listening and hope to consider not recommending the special use permit to the City Council.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Come forward. You swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth, sir.
I do.
Name and address.
My name is Robert Noctree. I live at 614 Western Avenue. The reason it seems to me that we had a hiatus on these kinds of emporiums in the first place was a concern that there are too many of them in the city of Joliet. And if the city has the data, I'd be curious to know how many payday loans, title loans, pawn shops, gold sellers, gold buyers we have in the city. And if that concern has gone away, is that why we are now taking this one by one? The hiatus that the city put on it, I think, led to discouraging other enterprises like this to come in. And when we no longer have that discouragement is eliminated, and we don't really have a good excuse, it seems to me, for stopping. So we'll be going and reviewing these things each time, and the neighborhoods will have to come back each time to say, we have too many and they're not good for this, for this social well-being, the society in Joliet. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Chair closes petition to the floor and asks the board for discussion and a vote.
I'm going to move to deny this petition.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to deny the petition. If you vote aye, you're voting to deny. If you vote no, you're voting against that. Call the roll.
Ms. Darling?
Aye.
Mr. Ferguson?
No.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. Nevadas? Aye. Ms. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
No.
Mr. Hennessy?
No.
3-3.
Motion was denied.
4 to 3.
4 to 3. Okay, this goes to the city council for final decision. Let's hear petition 2013-56. Joseph Ferguson.
Petition number 2013-56. The applicant is Joseph Ferguson, who was also the owner. Location is 1206 Clement Street. His request is for a variation to allow a new garage, which will result in a garage footprint that will be larger than the main structure. The applicant would like to construct a 38-foot by 28-foot garage on the rear portion of his residential lot at the subject site. The project is replacing a deteriorated garage at the site. 2 cars, a boat, a lawnmower, and other equipment will be stored in the larger replacement garage. The lot is 12,936 square feet and is located in an established near northwest side neighborhood, which is the Cunningham neighborhood. The property is improved with a 1.5-story frame residence, which was built in 1905, and a frame 2-car garage, which was built around 1930. Access to the future garage will remain via the existing driveway on the south side of the house. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character. The land use to the north, south, east, and west is single-family residential, all zoned R2 single-family residential. Applicable regulations are as noted. This item was on the agenda for the Community Design Review Board, which met earlier this month, and there was no comment regarding this particular request at that meeting. The proposed garage will generally conform to the current style of the petitioner's residence. The garage will have a rear yard setback of 3 feet and will be located in the same proximity as the existing garage. The garage will have windows on the sides but not on the rear elevation. A garage apron is planned for the new structure and will include an extension to meet the existing driveway. The garage doors will face Clement. There will be one 16-foot by 8-foot door and one 8-foot by 7-foot door. The walls of the garage will be 9 feet tall. The roof pitch is 812. The garage will have white vinyl siding and green asphalt shingle roof to complement the petitioner's home. Should the board wish to approve this variation, staff recommends that the following conditions be attached. 1, that should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the variation. And finally, we have added the 180-day condition that a building permit or certificate of occupancy should be obtained no later than 180 days of the effective date of the approval. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Ferguson? Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth?
I do.
Could I have your name and address?
Joseph Ferguson, 1206 Clement, Joliet.
Any comments you'd like to make?
Well, I'm sorry, but as he spoke, he kind of said the dimensions of the lot quick. I do have 2 lots, which I already went to the county and had those formed into 1 lot, so it's a double lot. It's not going to really crowd the lot. As far as you can see by the picture, the one that's there is unattractive. And just to keep the boat inside, keep both vehicles inside along with lawnmowers, other equipment, keep everything inside, also dress up the area. And also in this picture, you can see the house behind me also has a very large garage. Just to the south, and it's not in the picture, is another one, and just to the north is another. So it's not like I'm bringing new precedents as far as building a large 3-car garage. And as far as it being over the square footage of the house, it's only the footprint of the house. It's not over the total square footage. And it's barely over. But that would be enough to suit my needs and keep everything inside and not have neighbors having to look at a boat sitting outside or my work car or lawnmowers or anything like that.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Anybody in the audience wish to speak in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Chair closes petition to the floor, asks for discussion and a vote.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Call the roll.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. Novatus? Aye. Ms. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Darling?
Aye.
Mr. Ferguson?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
David Schoening, present, petition 2013-58.
Petition number 2013-58. The applicant is David Schoening, who is the project architect. The owner is Symphony Healthcare, location 306 North Larkin Avenue. Their request is for a variation of the non-residential design standards to allow renovation of an existing building exterior with EIFS material. The petitioner is requesting a variation of the non-residential design standards to allow renovation of an existing building exterior with EIFS, which is Exterior Insulation Finishing System, at the Symphony Healthcare Center, which is a skilled nursing facility for the elderly. The 2.4-acre site is located on the east side of Larkin Avenue, south of Glenwood. The property is zoned RB, restricted business. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character. Land use and zoning in the vicinity include multifamily residential, zoned R5, which is high-density multifamily, to the north. Professional offices, zoned RB, which is restricted business, to the south. Single-family residential, zoned R2, single-family residential zoning, to the east. And institutional, an institutional use, which is Joliet West High School, and that is zoned R2, single family as well, and that's located to the west. Applicable regulations are as noted. This item was on the agenda for the Community Design Review Board meeting earlier this month. There were no comments regarding this particular request at that meeting. Symphony Healthcare recently acquired the skilled nursing facility previously known as Deerbrook Care Center. The one-story brick with block backup structure was built in 1974 at a time when the mansard roof was popular. Almost 40 years later, the building looks dated, and the new owner proposes to add an exterior insulation finishing system. As stated in the variance application, the new exterior will draw new business and will present a welcoming appearance to new residents. The variation is required because the zoning ordinance non-residential design standards requires masonry construction. The new building veneer will be suggestive of the prairie style. The petitioner will present building elevations at the time of the hearing, and that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth?
I do.
Name and address?
David Schoening, 2 North 131 Willard Street, Carroll Stream, Illinois.
Any comments?
Yes, so as mentioned, the building recently came under new management, Symphony Healthcare, and the owner would like to improve the appearance of his building. The existing is a dated and unwelcoming type of appearance, and he would like to provide more of a timeless and welcoming design, and I think prairie style, and it lends itself well to that concept. But to achieve that, we've got to remove the 1.5 story of mansard roof that's existing on the building on the front elevation. Now behind that mansard is CMU. It's not a brick. There are areas of brick on that front elevation, and we're gonna keep most of that area of brick veneer, because it's a nice look. But behind that mansard is CMU, and we need a material to cover that. So a stucco look, goes hand in hand with a prairie style look. So an ephes veneer is what we are trying to go with. That veneer system itself is a forgiving veneer that can be applied over aging and irregular surfaces. Also has the benefit of protecting the aging facade from moisture and air infiltration, and also adds to the insulation value of the exterior facade. We're also proposing to put a new revised canopy over the entrance to continue to provide that new welcoming identity that the owner is after, and reinforce that prairie style theme.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, Mr. Shonin, will you be doing improvements to the interior as well?
Painting and just basically finishes on the interior, nothing structural or to that effect.
Just curious.
I'm curious about something too. Do you do this while the residents are there? Are you going to be able to do this work while people are living there?
Absolutely. Just providing veneer over the existing, it would not cause any disruption to the services inside the building.
Any other questions, comments? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Chair closes petition to the floor. Ask for discussion and a vote.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Call the roll.
Ms. Nevadas.
Aye.
Ms. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Riggs.
Aye.
Ms. Darley.
Aye.
Mr. Ferguson.
Aye.
Mr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy.
Aye. Okay. First choice temporary service. Anybody here? Petition 2013-61.
Petition number 2013-61. The applicant is First Choice Temporary Service, Inc. The owner is Essington Shops, LLC. Location 1103 Essington Road. Their request is for a special use permit to allow a temporary staffing and recruitment office. The petitioner is requesting a special use permit to allow a temporary staffing and recruitment office in an existing storefront located at the subject site. The site is located on the west side of Essington Road, just south of Ingalls Avenue. The property includes a 10,000 square foot multi-tenant commercial structure, which was built in 1999, paved parking, which is located east of the building. The tenant space to be occupied by the petitioner is located near the south end of the building. The tenant space is 1,050 square feet. The front parking will accommodate all required parking for the site, and the site is zoned B1 Neighborhood Business District. The land use and zoning adjacent to the site to the north and south is commercial, which also has the B1 zoning. To the east is professional office, which is zoned RB, and that is restricted business zoning. The Rock Run Forest Preserve is also located to the west, and that is zoned R4 multifamily residential. Applicable regulations are as noted. This item was on the agenda for the Community Design Review Board. There were no comments at that meeting regarding this particular request. The petitioner, First Choice Temporary Service, is a sole owner-operator business providing temporary employment services to local business and industry in the Joliet area. First Choice is relocating from another office space located on Essington Road to this multi-tenant commercial building. The employment office includes a front reception and application area. General office and storage areas are also located in this space. If the zoning board desires to approve the special use, the following conditions would be included. that the special use be subject to our 180-day condition, requiring a certificate of occupancy be obtained no later than 180 days of the effective date of approval. And finally, should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the special use permit. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Come forward, please. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth?
Yes.
Your name and address, please.
Jane Condon, 709 Wildwood Drive, Joliet.
Any comments you'd like to make?
I've been a business owner in Joliet of First Choice Temporary Service for 22 years, and prior to renting space here at 1103 Essington Road, I was a tenant over by the Metro Grill, which was zoned, I guess, similarly, for 6 years, and prior to that, then I was in the Mary Crest Shopping Center for about 15 years. I've never had any issues of any kind at my place of business. People come in and apply kind of one at a time. We do check pickups on Friday. Again, people just stop in during the day. I do not have any people loitering outside of my business. I do not provide transportation where people would be congregating at the beginning of the day and going off to a job. Those are my only comments, if you have any questions.
Anyone have any questions or comments?
How many employees do you have, ma'am, in your business?
I've got about 60 right now. It's busier in the summertime and a little slow.
60, as in 60?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That would be temporary employees. I have one
How
full-time.
about employees at work?
I have one full-time office manager and 2 part-time staff members.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Chair closes the petition to the floor and asks for a discussion and a vote.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Call the roll.
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Darling?
Aye.
Mr. Ferguson?
Aye.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. Nevades? Aye. Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Thank you. All those in favor of approving the minutes of the last meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those in favor of adjournment, so signify.
Aye.
Meeting stands adjourned, or sits adjourned, or whatever.
Was that my phone ringing? Turn the volume off.
Could have been.